Good evening. This is Kilo Charlie 9er Uniform Delta X-Ray. My name is Matt, and I welcome you to the 2 a.m. net. The purpose of this net is to promote the use of amplitude modulation and also to establish this part of this band as a place for AM activity in this area. Everyone is invited to listen. Licensed amateurs who can do so legally are encouraged to check in. We listen in the AM mode and transmit in the AM mode where possible. If you cannot transmit in AM, we encourage you to listen in AM and transmit in FM. If you are transmitting in FM, please adjust your transmit frequency a couple kCs above or below from our receive frequency. This facilitates the use of slope detection, that is, demodulating your FM signal with our AM receivers. When checking in, please announce your call sign and standard phonetics. Again, this is KC9UDX. My name is Matt. And before I take check-ins here, I'm going to take one here locally, so stand by.
This is Kilo Delta 9er Whiskey Foxtrot Alpha, just saying hi, and that tomorrow's my birthday. This is KD9WFA checking out.
Alright, thank you. Night.
Night.
Alright, so I will recognize, welcome, and say happy birthday to KD9WFA, who has now evacuated the shack here. And I will also recognize KA9MBM Mike, and then I will accept anybody else. Do we have any more check-ins for the 2 a.m. net? Come now, please.
W9KCC, good evening, Matt.
Hi, Matt. It's N9CXK.
And Whiskey Bravo 9, Bravo Whiskey Papa.
This is November 9 Foxtrot Sierra Echo.
All right, that may be the hottest start we've had in a while. Recognizing Frank W9JCC, Carol N9CXK, Dave WB9BWP, Steve N9FSE. Welcome you guys to the net. And do we have anybody else? Come now, please. All right, got one more. AB9DW Dale, welcome to the net. And, well, like KD9WFA Lorelei said, it's her birthday tomorrow, and we've got some stuff going on, so I don't want to be out here too late. So we're going to do something a little different here tonight that I don't think we've done before. We're just going to do 2 rounds. But as I always say on here, on the 2 a.m. net, don't feel like you're in a rush to end your transmission. Go ahead and talk as long as you like. If we're here 2 rounds till 10 o'clock, so be it. But that's what we're going to do. And I don't have too much to report. I've just been working and working, and that's it. I did do a little bit of rearranging down here in the shack, starting to clean things up. I installed another shelving unit, getting a whole bunch of things unstacked and put on a shelf. That's going to help a lot, but a long ways to go. Excuse me. And my HF antenna is still in the house, but that could change here. Although we have a very busy month, so I don't know when I'll get time to do anything. And with that, we'll go to the top of the list. KA9MBM Mike, it's your turn from KC9UDX.
Oh, this is KE9MBM. Good evening, Matt. Good evening to everybody on the net. And here we are again, another month. And, well, let's see. I had my receive antenna for, it's a beverage antenna for HF. I had noticed that the center connector and the coax, for some reason, was not making connection with the right at the antenna. Now the antenna is about 6 feet off the ground. It's actually attached to a cedar fence that I own. It goes along my backyard, and I use that as basically got like a dipole, 60 feet, approximately 60 feet on each side of the leg for the it's attached to the fence, and somehow it wasn't making contact. I don't know. So I got in there, and it was about 2 days ago, and I went out there and troubleshooted it and found out what the problem was and fixed it. And then, so I got my receive antenna again. The ARRL, I noticed, it's got one of these special awards. It's only for this year, for the America 250th, for working all states. Now, I have my work to all 50 states mix, combination of digital modes and, you know, the other stuff, and on different bands. And, but I wanted to get this nice award. It's got the picture of the United States with an American flag superimposed over it. And it's really nice. So they're offering that just for this year, between now and December. And I'm really close on a couple of the bands, 30 meters, 40, 10 meters has just been wide open the last few days. A lot of countries coming in. I actually picked up some new countries that I didn't have in Africa, so I was kind of excited about that. But I want to go after this award. Like I said, I have the mixed WAR, worked all states, and then I have my DXCC, which mixed as well, for over 100 countries worth. I'm not a real big contester or anything like that. It's just kind of nice to have. And really just been doing my local pieces that I have with some of the guys in the area here. Mainly on 6 meters. There's a 6-meter repeater in the area that we get on in the morning. KF-19 joins me, Jim. And then there's another gym up in Cedarburg, and we get on the 6-meter repeater every day. Well, KF-19 is on his way to work, so kind of fun. And then I got another friend, Ham, that I talked to on Simplex on 220 megahertz band every day too. So kind of nice. So with that, I will throw back to you, Matt, and you can pass it on to the next person on the net here. This is PC9UDX, KV9NDM.
All right, thank you, Mike. Fine business. I guess I should pay more attention. I had no idea that the ARRL was doing that. That was by far my favorite activity in my amateur radio career so far. Was the ARRL Centennial. I did work all states during that contest, that year-long contest. In fact, my operating desk here, I still have the map where I was crossing off the states. That's been here ever since. That was a long time ago now, but I guess that would be fun to do. And I do have the award for that one. I'm assuming this other one looks similar. That would go good with it, I guess. I really better get in gear though if I'm going to do that now. Band conditions should be a lot better for this one than they were for that one, so it should be a little bit easier to do. But next we'll go to Frank W9JCC from KC9UDX.
Okay, KC9UDX and the net W9JCC, and say good evening to everybody that checked in after I did. And everybody's coming in real good here in Waukesha. And Steve, thanks for the QST. Was watching the news and heard you come over the repeater and skedaddle down here to the ham shack. I'm playing around with a new frequency counter I picked up here a couple of weeks ago, primarily for use on 40 meters with my AM equipment, which isn't real stable. So I'm going to try it here on 2 meters. So I got it on the less than 200 megahertz band. So I should be in this part of the band, but it's not picking up anything. I've got an AM loop antenna right down here in the basement for it, and it evidently doesn't work here on this frequency too well. But it does work good on 40 meters, even with a 50-watt transmitter. It picks up the frequency quite well. So anyway, that's all I have on this one. Matt, we'll turn it back to you. KC9UDX, W9JCC.
All right, thank you, Frank. Fine business. I have got a couple of frequency counters I've used over the years in here, mostly for doing this net, back when I did not have a crystal for this frequency. I have a VFO and it drifts, so I had to always watch the frequency. I had a couple of them, excuse me, that I think I sold. I might still have one of them. The problem with those is that they interfered with the radio, the switching power supply in them. And I ended up resorting to a Radio Shack handheld one, which is sitting here in front of me. I probably should take the batteries out of it. It's been sitting here for years. But as I turn it on, it still works. I'd have to extend the antenna or connect it to something else in here to get it to pick up my transmission on the antenna outside, but it does the job. It's another one of these things that's too bad Radio Shack doesn't sell them anymore, and too bad they're not around here anymore. I may have an opportunity next week to go to a real Radio Shack. Haven't done that in a few years. There is one, as far as I know, it's still there. It's in Wisconsin Dells. And so maybe next week I'll get a chance to go there. And with that, next we'll go to Carol, N9CXK. But Carol, I've got a question for you because you may be the guy that has an answer for this. I'm just kind of curious. My neighbor has had 3-phase service installed. They put in a new pole with a 3-phase drop. And on top of this pole, they put a parabolic UHF antenna. And when I noticed that, I thought of seeing these other places, and it seems to me like these are in various places. I wonder if you have any idea what We Energies does with a UHF parabolic antenna up on top of a pole like that. N9CXK from KC9UDX.
KC9UDX and the net, N9CXK. Well, hello everybody. Glad to hear so many signals on the band tonight. And looking out over the lake here, and it's I've been out on the lake several times, but it's already getting gloppy out there. Snow is melting on top of the ice. Oh man, not boding well for the activities out there. Yeah. How many of those semi-parabolic antennas do you want, man? Actually, I don't think I have any left now. I used to bring them home all the time because they abandon them left and right. Those are on 900 megahertz, and we use those all over the system for remote SCADA. A lot of them are for switch controllers, remote control switches, and reclosing devices on a lot of poles. And they talk to the control center for managing outages and things. They see a fault, and they drop the line, and then they work together to reconfigure the get as many people back in service as they can automatically. So, anyways, if they put a pole up with a new transformer, there may be a switch there somewhere. There would probably be a control box down lower on the pole. And, they'll talk on 900 megs, and when I retired, they were just starting to install NLOS equipment all over the system, which is near line of sight, and it's all on 220 megs. So we have just a ton of 220 megs on the air now too. But there are some areas, looks like from the New Berlin Tower, the Coffee Road Tower, they still have a 900 megahertz base station out there. So I see a lot of those antennas still around the New Berlin, Ego, Test Corners area. So anyways, those antennas are used, to send signals from the remote control switches back to base station, and then back to our control center where the computer kind of wrangles everything, watches the openings and closings and the load and the voltages and things. So that's remote control stuff, but there's a lot of those out there. All over. Pretty amazing. Those antennas, well, a few years ago, those antennas were like $450 each. I don't know what they are now. When you drive around, a lot of the poles now have vertically polarized 220 meg beams on them. And they are used for the same thing, but they're getting better results, less errors, better error rates with the 220 megs, which is a little less line of sight. So there. And what do I have to say tonight? Not too much. Not doing a lot of radio stuff, but I did operate last Sunday, was it? Sunday or Saturday, I don't know, but there was a 1010 contest. So I was on and worked a bunch of people handing out 1010 numbers, and at the same time they were having a QSO party in British Columbia. So I worked a bunch of guys in British Columbia on 10 meters. That was a lot of fun. Interesting because we just booked a vacation out to Vancouver, where we get on the train at Vancouver and ride through the mountains for a couple of days, and then take motor coaches and go to an ice field up there, and then down through Lake Louise and Banff and over to Calgary. It's about a 10-day tour, and we're really excited. But that's not till the fall, but we got a little bit more planning to do. Got to get the airfares squared away, and probably won't do that till later. And if I want to do any extra side trips, I got to figure those out too. So that's pretty exciting. And then I already lurched ahead and trying to figure out another trip for the spring that we can go and take. Maybe it'll be a car driving trip or something. But I'm trying to get in that mode. It's what I've been supposed to be doing since I retired, but kind of falling behind. So working on that. But it's good that the solar activity is subsiding a little bit, so that the bands are a little clearer and the propagation is a little more reliable. And 10 meters has been pretty good, especially when there's a contest. Man, they come out of the woodwork everywhere. You would never know that the propagation was that good until people actually get on the air. That's about it. So we've been taking day trips in the car, driving around and stuff. That's fun too. But I'm watching the snow evaporate, and there isn't a whole lot left in my yard. The lake is still frozen, but I don't know for how long. The way it seems to be melting pretty fast. AC9UDX and 9CXK. Hope I didn't bore everybody.
All right, thank you, Carol. Fine business. That trip to Canada sounds amazing, especially in the fall. That sounds really nice. And it's nice that you can do that stuff. I know a lot of guys who retired and can't do things like that, and I guess then what's the point in being retired? But I don't know. I don't know that I'll ever retire. It would be nice to slow down a little bit, though, and do some of those kind of retirement-like things at some point. And thanks for the information on those antennas. That's kind of what I suspected, but I wasn't sure. That's really good information, though. That's good to know. There is a control box on that pole. Must have the radio and whatever switching gear is inside of there. I have no idea. It was kind of interesting watching them put that pole up, though, in between two other poles. When they had the pole on the ground and they hadn't put it up yet, I saw something sticking out the top, and I didn't realize it was an antenna at that point. I was kind of worried it was another one of these stupid flock cameras, but fortunately it is not yet anyway. And next we'll go to Dave. Excuse me, WB9BWP from KC9UDX.
Oh, good evening, everyone. Let's see here. Tying in with that Warsaw Stage 250 thing. Here I was doing the WNAW portable stations too. From every state. I see tonight, but I could not hear sound. WNAW portable KP4 on 20 meters. I wasn't even sure if the antennas were connected. Oh, I see something there. Maybe you can show up now. I'll have to check when I'm done with my turn here. That's the only way to get me to talk faster, I guess. Because I have I think 5 of them already. I've got a Warsaw State phone and one on RIDI, believe it or not. I was surprised myself when I saw that I had enough for that. In fact, there was just one RIDI contest beginning of January, and I got 30 states out of that. In fact, there's another one coming up this weekend. But maybe more important, content-wise, for the people here, since we're fighting on 2-meter AM, there's the FM duplex contest coming up in just a couple of weeks. Sunday the 22nd. Starts at 1 in the afternoon. 1 hour on 2 meters, half hour on 440, 6 meters, 220, and then final half hour is digital stuff, Fusion and D-Star. There's never been any DMR contact. So, if you do a whole thing, it's 1 till 4, Sunday afternoon. Different categories, all sorts of things. So, mark your calendar. And send them a luck if you make any contact. Last few years, I've noticed that the number of logs has been decreasing while the participants have been increasing. Don't know what that means. Stand by the same moment. That's because I don't change go in the menu, change the timer. Oh yes, the Radio Shack frequency counter. I've got one of those too. Yeah, that was one of those products. Every once in a while, Radio Shack would have something that was like really good and even popular a lot of times, but they never knew what to do with that. And they usually discontinued whatever that was in a year or two, because they were like, well, we don't understand why these people want to buy it. Anyway, there's a couple of people here on this network have not been on the other net that I do my little commercials for. But finally, after over 6 years, instead of like 1.5 years, I updated the MRAC history book. It even has a new title. It's got a bunch of pictures in it, and it's now over 300 pages. It's not yet on all the traditional sites. I can't tell you why, other than people just haven't taken care of that. I sent it to the Internet Archive and even the club website. I've talked to all the necessary parties, but they don't have it posted yet. But if you'd like to see it, I have it on my webpage, wb9bwp.com. About halfway down, the 2026 version of the MRAC history book. Check it out if you want. With that, we'll come back to that. This is WP9BWP.
All right, thank you, Dave. Excuse me. Well, I certainly appreciate that. It's a very good thing that you do. I'm glad you're doing it because I don't know too many other people that would bother, and it's something that's really, really good to have done. And yeah, I'll have to check that out. I guess I didn't know there was a WB9BWP.com, but I'll certainly remember to go look at that. And with that, next we'll go to Steve, excuse me, N9FSE from KC9UDX.
Thank you, Matt. Happy birthday to Lorelei, the KD9WFA, both KC9UDX and her have S9 plus 30 tonight. We got Mike with S9 20 over. You got Frank at 60 over. Carol at S9 plus just S9-ish. I don't know. I got to relook at that. Dave at plus 30. No report from me. I think DL was close to S9. Nice signal today. Again, good that you can hear them. So excellent business on all those fronts. And yeah, I got to tune around the ham band some more, although I do recall I think heard some 10 FM a little bit over the weekend, just barely, briefly. Got a mic for fixing up the beverage. I don't know if that's, I don't know if they're recommended heights, but yeah, it sounds, to me, I always figured it'd be lower to the ground, but sometimes that might be just the right height, I guess. Frank, good on catching my announcement. That's it doesn't hurt, I guess, at all. On the west side, or a Peter, we'll give them a plug here too. And thanks for the info, Carol. And speaking of, it sounds like an awesome trip you got planned coming up there, and not too short either. It should be just beautiful to check all those Pacific Northwest areas out and into Calgary. So. Excellent business. Been to Vancouver once, or it's twice now, I think. So that's pretty cool. It's always green out there, no matter the season. It seems like. And thanks for the update, Dave, on the history and the Simplex contest. I gotta tell those guys to spread the information around there. Get it on the socials, get it on the state reflectors for email, all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, people will barely know about it. I got to find that, print that out. I know that from studying Swap Fest. They're coming around. What do we got here? The 21st. Yeah, so in a couple of Saturdays, I think that's the 21st. They got the one up in Marshfield. The other the Marshfield area Amateur Radio Society is having a swap fest, so that's the first of the season, and it'll happen before our next net. And then mid-March will be in the same day as the Wisconsin QSO party. Speaking of contest, will be Jefferson
on the website, so that's pretty, one of the neatest features they got going on there. And then I'm still waiting to hear info. And then they say it's happening. I think it's April 18th for Amera's Stoughton Fest, and I believe it's going to be at the same location. But I'm just guessing because they don't have their flyer out the last time I checked. That is, they got to get with it. And I derailed myself. Thinking of Carol's neat trip. I also let my socials tell me all day today it's International Ski Patrol Day, so as an alumni, there you go. So should have beat the drum more with my club, but oh well, we've been busy out there. We've had the natural snow and rope tow runs at Fox Hill open 10 days so far this season. A lot of limited stuff in February here to just our intermediate and bunny hill, but we've been keeping it running. You need a little more snow on the west side, but that's all the melting you're seeing are not going to we're not looking good for this weekend. So at least I've been getting out there, so looking forward to that. Going out to see my brother in a while there and take all that stuff in. Hopefully I get some snow in Breckenridge before then. With that, that's enough beating all the topics and a couple of fresh ones that send it back to Ned. This is it. N9FSE. Over.
All right, thank you, Steve. Fine business. And thanks for the signal reports. Excuse me. My sinuses are really starting to act up here. I don't dare switch over the meter here to receive. It's on transmit right now. It doesn't switch automatically, and I really need to open up that radio and fix that meter. If I put it on receive and it goes up around 5, the needle will get stuck. So unfortunately I can't give any signal reports for a while until I get that taken care of. But next we'll go to Dale, AB9DW. It's your turn from KC9UDX.
Those are some
right, thank you, Dale. Fine business. I'll say 7-3 to you, and thanks for popping in here. There sure is a lot of interesting new technology in radio. I've looked at some of that stuff, and it's very interesting. Unfortunately, it's stuff I just don't have time to play with. Otherwise, I would. That a lot of that stuff is very, very interesting. And fine business on the bathroom. I can certainly appreciate that. I am not looking forward to it. I'm going to have to do some work in my main bathroom again here at some point. But at least the other one is complete. That took a long time. I had a lot of help. And with that, I'm going to check if Jim KS9Q would like to check in. Jim KS9Q, if you're there, go ahead.
Well, your ears must have been ringing, because I looked up at the clock and I said, hey, the net's going on. So, first off, Matt, I am trying a different microphone tonight. How is the audio level and the overall quality?
I'm using a speaker built into this radio, which is not very good. It's very loud, and it's hard for me to judge if it's too loud. But it could be. It is very, very loud, and that part of that too could be my fault because I had to turn up the gain here when Dale was talking. So maybe I'm completely wrong. I don't know. Go ahead, Jim.
Okay. I did back off on the mic gain a little. In fact, I'm turning it a little bit more down. That should hopefully be a little bit better. But good evening, Matt on the net. This is KS9Q, and just decided to pop down into the shack and say hello to everybody. I caught the fact that it's Lorelai's birthday, and very happy birthday to her. And let's see. Well, we had something delightfully unhealthy for dinner tonight. We had something called sheet pan. It's like a sheet pan bake consisting of hash browns that are cooked in bacon grease, plus cheese, plus bacon, plus eggs. So all the stuff that's guaranteed to keep your cholesterol rate right up there. It was very tasty. So Jim and I watched a little bit of TV for a bit, and then I thought, we'll come down and hop into the shack here and see what's going on the meter and net. Over the weekend, 6 meters was open. A lot of activity on FT8, and 10 seemed to be pretty active as well. A lot of beacon stations, and it was again a fair amount of stuff happening. So got a little bit of a chance to do some hamming over the weekend. And let's see, I've been doing the usual stuff at work, making busted radios work, and that's about it on this one for this go-around. I'll turn it back to Matt. This is KS9Q.
All right, thank you, Jim. Fine business. And that that does sound very good. And I don't know, it could be very bad for you, but I have a different opinion. I think that when people talk about that stuff being all bad, it's mostly fear-mongering. Most of the fear of fatty foods that we have comes from the socialist progressives, from 120 years ago. They had their own strange sort of religious agenda as to why we should eat the way we should, and that seems to be what most of what we call healthy is based on. And I don't know. To me, there doesn't seem to be anything else to it. And I often wonder if eliminating all the fats from our foods is what makes everybody so unhealthy these days. But either way, it's good to have something like that once in a while. And with that, we're at the bottom of the list. Do we have any more check-ins for the 2 a.m. net? Come now, please. All right, hearing none. Before I go back to the top of the list, Jim, I do want to say I'm assuming you're using a Vox setting on there, and if so, you may want to turn up the Vox delay a little bit. It drops out quite a bit in between your syllables, but other than that, maybe turn that mic down a little bit. But we'll see here on your next go around. And we'll go back to the top of the list, and like I said before, we'll call this the 7-3 round right away. I guess we probably would be anyway at this time. So it worked out either way. So KA9MBM Mike, it's your turn on the 7-3 round from KC9UDX, and go ahead and talk as long as you like.
Okay, sounds good, Matt. KC9UDX, KA9MBM, and the net. Wow, I was taking notes here, and yeah, those little antennas that you see there for 900 megahertz for the electric company, yeah, you see that all over the place. And it's on everybody's meters too, and I looked at my gas meter and electric meter, and there's an FCC ID there. You look that up, and it tells you what frequency and what those meters are all about when it reports back, so you don't have the old days when a meter reader would come out and look at your meters. Well, I guess they don't do that anymore. That's what the 900 megahertz is for. But I can see the advantage going to a different band to transmit that data. The 900 megahertz band is pretty congested with all the, what do you want to call it, unlicensed devices. But you know, it's also in jeopardy too, that band. The next nav cell company, they're big cellular company, and they want to sell their navigational. They basically want to have a backup for their GPS satellite for direction, location, and such. And they've been bugging the FCC to basically turn over most of the 902 to 928 band to them exclusively. And that would basically, all these meters that the electric company has would basically put them out of business, because they would have to have somebody come out and read the meters manually. And a lot of these unlicensed devices wouldn't work either. People's garage door openers, those first alert help monitors that people have, and you know, a whole slew of things, and also the mesh-tastic that Dale brought up. Now, I played around with the mesh-tastic. I got a device here. A friend of mine kind of talked me into it, and played with it for a little while, and found out that there really isn't much as far as most people using it. And when they do it, they turn their nose on for a short time and they turn it off. They don't leave it on. And the whole point was to be able to pass traffic from each node down to the next one, and almost like packet radio. And it's no good if people turn their nose off. So that kind of was disappointing, but it was something to play with. Only $20. Couldn't go wrong. Learn something from it. And I do have other 900 megahertz equipment here, commercial equipment. I can get on the 900 megahertz band for ham radio, and I can hit one of the repeaters in the Milwaukee area. I haven't heard any everybody on it, but I can bring it up. Let's see here. Boy, that trip, Vancouver sounds really neat, Carol. My wife and I, we were going to try to do that years ago, and then we got up into Canada, and we were going to go on one of those train rides where it goes through the country. And she got ill, and we had to come back. We had to abort the trip. Kind of a bummer, but it would have been nice. But, you know, life happens. Things get in the way, and there's nothing you can do about it. Jim, KS9Q, your audio is much louder tonight than it was this morning on the 6-meter repeater. So, if that means anything. The fatty foods, yeah. Well, you know, if you do it in moderation, it's not bad. But if you do it every day, wow. Yeah, I can see the cholesterol going up, but, you know, you got to live once in a while. And you think years ago, people, 50s, in 1950s, 60s, and way back, they ate this stuff every day. You know, bacon and eggs, and, you know, and other fatty foods, they had that every day. I don't know. But I certainly can't hurt you if you do it once in a while. Moderation is the key, I guess, is what they say. So everybody's coming in real good here on the net.
Check 1, 2. This is KS9Q.
Glad to hear everybody. And I'll throw it back to you, Matt. PC9UDX, 89 MPM, 7-3 everybody, and I'll be listening out.
All right, thank you, Mike. I will say 7-3 to you. And I agree. I think it's hard to go wrong just doing everything in moderation. I don't know who it was that first famously said that, but I kind of live by that. I try not to do anything in extremes. But, excuse me. I guess the first thing I think of when you talk about everybody turning their nodes off on the Meshtastic, that just reminds me of what Dave was saying with the 10-meter net or 10-meter contests. Everybody listening and nobody talking. It's the same thing, you know. Everybody turn their nodes off and only use it when they want to use it. Just need to get more people to want to use it, I guess. Got to get more people talking on 10 meters. And with that, we'll go to Frank, W9JCC. It's your turn on the 7-3 round from KC9UDX.
Okay, thanks, Matt. KC9UDX, W9JCC. And I did something here. I just thought I'd try an experiment. That's interesting. I put that frequency counter back on. It's got an AM range antenna on it down here in the basement. And last time I turned it on, and it was reading a frequency of around 20 megahertz up to about 26 megahertz. Don't know what that was, but pretty consistent. And now I see that it's trying to read my transmit frequency here. It's getting close, but you know, 176, 156. So it's probably pretty marginal. The antenna's not too good, and the power's not too high. But I just thought it's in the wrong frequency range. So I went up to the next range, which starts up 27 meg and goes up from there. So anyway, as far as HF, I haven't been doing much of that except the 40-meter AM net 4 times a week and 10-meter sideband net on Friday nights. And that's about it. Yeah, and Carol, you should have a nice the audio, it's loud, like everybody said, and I find it kind of bassy from what I'm used to hearing you at. If you're referenced next to Matt's much higher pitched than you are, just as a reference point. But it's very good quality. It's just you don't have too many highs. Yeah, probably too many lows. Okay, I'll say 73s. Everybody have a great rest of the week, and we'll try to catch you next time. Back to you there, Matt. KC9UDX, W9JCC 73s.
All right, thank you, Frank. Say 7-3 to you. And yeah, I turned mine on here, and when I talk, it moves around. It's not getting it right at all. Oh, there we go. Now when I don't talk, I get a very nice clear 145.700. It's actually that's actually better than I expected. This crystal's doing pretty good. I should keep this on your standby. I don't see it change too much when I key up. Probably I have to wait a little longer. But I got to hold it in just the right spot to read it. Of course, down here in the basement, it picks up most of the garbage from all the power supplies around the house more than anything. Probably. But next we'll go to Carol, N9CXK. Carol, I think about what you're saying, and the last time the only time in my life I've ever been to Canada, the farthest I went was Sault Ste. Marie, and I'll bet that was 1987. So I am kind of jealous, but it's your turn on the 7-3 round, Carol, from KC9UDX.
KC9UDX and the net, 9DXK. Well, good. Yeah, well, seems like when I was younger, my parents took us to Canada lots of times, but I don't really remember that well. But yeah, we were in Vancouver several years ago, 20 years ago, when we went on an Alaskan cruise. My father-in-law took the whole family on an Alaskan cruise, so we went through Vancouver. Yeah, I loved that city. We were there overnight. We had a few hours to move around, and it's very lush there. Pretty much moist all the time, and things just grow. Yeah, we're going to go back there, and then I was in Calgary about 25 years ago. We went up for a training class, a week-long training class at General Electric digital control facility. So we were there, and it snowed. It was terrible the first day, and then the rest of the time we were there was like 60, 70 degrees and sunny. So we had a really good time in the evenings after work. Yeah, it should be fun. We did a little research and had the travel agent help us. I think we got the discounts that we could get, so it's okay. And I probably never would have done it in the past, but I bought all the travel insurance so that we're kind of protected no matter what might happen. And that's a good thing. Jim, your audio was good. You turned it down a little. I think that was a little better, but it's clear. Your signal's strong, so there's no problem. No problem at all. I guess it's maybe a little bassier than usual, but I imagine you're on a different radio. So, sounds good. No, I wouldn't think around with that too much. Matt, you will retire someday. When you get old enough, you will know when it's time to retire, and you will be happy, and then you'll do things. Because the way you're working and socking away the money, I think that won't be a problem either. That sounds good. Steve, surprised you're not out skiing tonight. But maybe you've eaten up this week. I have not found any more ski patrol stuff to give you. I think you got it. I think I gave you a few things, badges and things Gibson Award mugs and things like that. So there. And yeah, everybody is sounding good. And Frank, I'm just going to say it, you're trying to receive 145.7 with an AM loop on your frequency counter. I think you need to take that off and put on a 2-meter antenna or a 2-meter rod so that you can pick up your transmitter a little better. I can't imagine that an AM loop, AM broadcast loop is working very well with that. Because hopefully most of your signal's going outside and it's not in the basement, so probably a little more appropriate antenna in there. I'm trying to think who else was on here, and Dave, thanks for all the info. I just don't understand. Well, I've never done it. I don't know how you get these awards. I don't know how you prove you made all these contacts. I don't think people really send QSL cards much anymore. So I don't know how you put it down and get them to believe you worked all these states. Everybody does it. There must be a way. And the mesh things, I was always kind of dubious about those mesh things because a mesh network only works and exists when you have a lot of nodes all around you and you're one of the nodes. And they have to stay on. Yeah, they have to be able to talk to each other and route information through each other in the absence of nodes. All you got to do is pipsqueak 900 meg radio. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just kind of wondering if people have these and leave them on all the time. Or I guess out in California and other places where there's a lot of amps in a smaller area, they have good luck and leave them on. It's more money I don't understand. I had 900 megahertz ham stuff, converted some Kenwoods over to 900 megs, and I never found anybody to talk to. Never. And I talked to a couple of people. I said, let's get on the air, and we would talk to each other, and that was the end of that. But there were supposed to be like 5-6 repeaters around here. I didn't find any of them to be on the air except one in Kenosha. And even on that one, never found anybody that was there that would talk to you. So I got rid of all that stuff. And the AMR, the automated meter reading, that's a completely different system than the SCADA system. AMR, yeah, that's on 900 megs, and that's all run by an outside company. They handle all the infrastructure, all the base stations, and all the relay equipment and all that, and they run all the servers and everything. And they just give all the results to our billing department. So that, I don't know, I'm not sure. It's all in the 900 megahertz band, yeah. But I don't think we're not the only electric company using those meters. Every electric company is using those meters. I can't imagine them giving away that spectrum just like that. Interfering with all the automated meter reading. With the SCADA stuff, our stuff was generally 928, transmit 956, receive, depending on if you're the base station or the remote device. But yeah, ours was, everything we had was licensed. Every channel was licensed. Then we didn't have to worry about too many people getting in our way. And if they got in our way, we had it taken care of pretty quickly. But there is a lot of spectrum out there. People are not like this. Kind of blasting it all over. And cornel swings and all that stuff on 900 megs, I guess. There could be a lot of interference. That's why we went to 220. I'm told it's working much better. Not perfect, but it's working much better. The error rates are way down. And you wouldn't believe how many days in the summer, like during the hot summer days, every day I'd look and we have stations down all over the system. And yeah, it was ducting. Ducting over the lake. Signals were ducting all over southeast Wisconsin and coming into the wrong base stations and everything. It was amazing. I just tell them, I said, okay, I'm not sending guys out. You wait till 10 o'clock and this will all calm down. And invariably, everything came back. All the links were reestablished and everything by 10 o'clock when the temperature inversion kind of calmed down. I wasn't a big fan of 900 megs. Very temperamental. Let's see how that goes. Everybody have a good rest of your week. Don't forget Valentine's Day. Make sure you make your preparations. And we'll talk to you all soon. Yeah, everybody sounds good, and I'm happy to be here. CC9UDX and 9EXK73.
All right, thank you, Carol. Yeah, I'm watching my frequency rise. Now it seems to settle. That's interesting. Anyway, to answer your question about the how do they know that you got the award, it's very, very simple. Logbook of the world. When I did that, I did not have a computer here capable of using the Logbook of the World system at all. So what I did, and I would do it again even though I could use the computer. Well, I have to either way, but I'll get to the point here. I used my Commodore 64. I wrote my own software to generate the ADF file. And then I would upload it to Logbook of the World at work. I wouldn't have to do that anymore. I could do that here, but I'd still use my software to do most of the work. I took that software all apart, and I tried to rewrite it, and the feature creep happened, and well, I gave up on it. But I keep old versions of all that stuff, so somewhere here I could probably find a working version of it yet. It's clumsy, but it works. And it's mine. So that's what that is. Yeah, if you're not in Logbook of the World, you got to get on there. Everybody uses it now. Which reminds me, I got to get on it. Lorelei tried to get signed up with that, and they will not send her the postcard for some reason. I probably would have to do it again too. I'm sure all that stuff is expired. I haven't done that in well over 10 years, so I probably have to get a postcard again too. But I'll say 7-3 to you, Carol. And it's very fascinating listening to you talk about that stuff. That's really cool. It's good information to know, just to know it. I do have some 902 band stuff here, and we used to use it a lot. In fact, Lorelei and I would use it all the time when we were out and about, just because nobody else is on that band. But now she's got a cell phone, so we don't use that at all anymore. Unless I ever get some time to mess around with it again. I got to get her back on 10 meters too. And my 7-year-old has decided he wants to get licensed. I don't know what's going to happen with that, if anything, but that's kind of interesting. Anyway, we'll go next to Dave. Excuse me. Dave WB9BWP, it's your turn on the 7-3 round from KC9UDX.
Okay, well, we'll start with 73 to everybody that's listening this evening. In case anybody lets the drift away. or those people in the background that listen, don't check in. Almost like you guys about before Matt. One time I stumbled across a couple of guys talking on Simplex on 2 meters, and they were talking about our Friday night net, and they were talking about some of the stuff that we brought up during the net. It's like you guys listening to them talk about it, it's like they're listening all the time, every week, but they have never checked in. I don't know what that is. But anyway, it's not that they're afraid to get on the radio because they're there talking to each other. Well, maybe that's why. Yeah, well, look at the world. You take a guess, I forget, 2 years, 3 years, then they expire. They usually send a warning email. You know, your stuff's going to expire in a month or two or whatever it is. But I know it's not 10 years because I've had to do it a couple of times already. And I had a second one for MRAC, since I'm the trustee. But then with the administration changes in the club, and they stopped sending me love, so that certificate expired. And I said, hey guys, too bad. Anyway, that's that story. My webpage is just because I got, with the service that I signed up with at the time, I got 2 domain names for very little money. Of course, that money has increased every year, and it's also been bought, I think, twice by other companies. And they kept raising the price. In fact, they were going to raise the price really obnoxious a few months ago. And I wrote to them and I said, hey, when I started, it was only this much. If you're going to do this, I'm going to go somewhere else. And they came back and they cut the price like down to a third of what they were originally going to raise it at. It's like, yeah, okay, I'll stick around. Eventually sold stuff off of there too, so and it was, at the time, it was practice, because I was doing some of that when I was working at Eden. They found out I could do it, so they were doing it for internal work. There's the radio. They were doing it for internal webpage. And that's a really crazy story, not worth going into on the radio. Other than that, I don't know if I got anything else special. Yeah, contest-wise, there's stuff coming up every weekend for the next 4 weeks of the major contest. There's always stuff almost every other day, but anyhow, I'll just say, 73 once again, get everybody out there, and yeah, tune in for the FM Simplex contest, give it a try. Rules are out on W9R8.org. There's a list of suggested frequencies. Everybody pretty much sticks to those on the list. Anyway, 73 once again to everyone, and yeah, keep doing what you're doing and enjoying what you're doing, and thanks for doing the net all the time. This is WP9BWP.
All right, thank you, Dave. I will say 7-3 to you. And of course, thank you for always being here. You're here more than anybody else. I'm here more than anybody, but beyond that, you're next. So you're keeping the net going as much as I am, and everybody else. You know, just like all the other stuff. If we weren't all here doing it, it wouldn't get done. And now I derailed my train of thought. I was going to say something here, and I can't for the life of me remember what it is. It was about domain names, and I don't even remember anymore. But Next we'll go to Steve N9FSE. It's your turn on the 7-3 round from KC9UDX.
Okay, very good, Matt. That's lots of stuff here on my shortened list of notes here, and I don't know if I should go do this in reverse order. I think I'll just do it in order. I got stuff written there. Mike or somebody was talking about Meshcore, and then there was some other talk of LoRa and all that. There's this K8 MRD video on some device that comes with a solar panel and its own batteries in it to do the LoRa thing, and geez, maybe I should get one and slap it in at the ski hill or something. Need to find a little more application than that. That's all that stuff, as mentioned, only works if there's other folks out there. And it's sort of like the APRS network. Nobody's doing it, and nobody's doing it in your area. It's as good as no good, but you need at least a little representation and nodes up, ditch repeaters in the APRS case to make things happen. Let's see here. Last 2 months we had NI9E Jeff out here. He hasn't joined us tonight, but maybe we'll see him again subsequent months here. He's going to take it easy and back at home there, and then just to follow up with Dave's stuff, and this good stuff with this net, you had too, Matt. Good on everyone for keeping it going. That keeps it interesting to have more just 2-3 guys or something out here, so that's great stuff. And I don't know, I probably should have mentioned it last month, but last weekend was the AM rally, but I'm just too busy trying to stay relaxed and get out to ski hills that I really didn't go looking for any AM ralliers last weekend. So I guess I'll have to wait till next year on that business. And I should get that kind of stuff. Maybe I can schedule that on the Facebook AM Wisconsin page or something for next year. But I don't know how soon they announce that stuff. And then Jim mentioned working on busted radios, and I have that day in and day out, but today I was out in the field busted radio time at a fleet of equipment to check over, plow trucks and whatnot. And checked out 33 radios, climbing into trucks and loaders, this, that, and the other kind of specialized equipment. And found a few screwed up antennas, one whip missing, one cross-threaded antenna that they did, and then a whole bunch of kind of old microphones. And I got all their old microphones to work today, but I told them there's no guarantees they're going to hang in there too long. And put a prescription in for them to get 15 to 20 replacements. It'd be a wise thing for them, but even if they stock 8 to 10 and start changing out the ones as they get crunchy and audio dropping out again, they'll be well ahead of their game, and should keep them better operational, and hopefully they know what to look at now after a quick discussion of what I did for checking things out. Quick transmitter check, quick receive check, and straighten their mics out check. So lots of fun stuff. Then I went back to the shop and faced more shelf radios to work on. No end to it. I'm sure Jim has the same thing. And good on all the 900 gear. I didn't write that one down. I do have some 900 stuff too, and yeah, 900 makes 6 meters and 220 look rather busy. So, and I have worked stations on 900, but not too much, and nothing lately. But there should be at least one repeater up in the city area. There should be a 9PAY machine should still have at least one of his couple going, and there's one not far from me here in the shack, but it's been unplugged here for quite some time because I haven't been inspired enough to rip into that at all and try to figure out its fun. old Motorola, it's Quantar or something like that over here. And there was more on that. Oh, let's see here. My brother got trying to keep me going on D-Star. Work radio is a difficult thing because I couldn't make Chirp talk to it, and I don't know if I have any good software for that, but maybe I'll have to manually do some entries to make that one working, and then recheck and make sure I got all I need in the home radio, which I definitely can talk to, but I haven't talked to that lately either so much. And then my brother also is all the ham radio infrastructure. We're working on signing myself up for a little 44-net activities for ham IP address. So lots going on, lots of fun everywhere, and I'm all wore out after everything. I'm ready to go pack things up here and check out. So I'll say 73. We'll see if anyone's left after me, because I guess Jim is there. I didn't put down 73 for everybody but Matt and Jim at this point, and I guess I'll be 73 as well. Fine time out here, and I look forward to hopefully can make it back out yet again next month. So with that, say 73, back to net control. Good work as usual. KC9 UDX N9F SE. Over.
All right, thank you, Steve. I'll say 7-3 to you. We'll go next to Jim, KS9Q. It's your turn on the 7-3 round.
Okay, this is KS9Q, and I am just at the edge of a sneeze here. So if the carrier drops, that's why. Very good. Yeah, Steve, I've been doing a little bit of work on snow removal equipment at the airport. We've got a couple of new vehicles that need radios, and they fortunately have NMO mounts already. They need to be cleaned up a little bit, but we're able to salvage them, and should be able to get those working. All I need is just a little bit of time, and a little warmer weather isn't a bad thing. Otherwise, we'll just bivouac it in the hangar and do the job inside. A couple of projects over at the control tower as well. They were having a little bit of difficulty with one of the position modules, and it's an interesting thing to try to support because the system is about 30 years old, and I cannot get a hold of the company that owns it. I cannot get anybody to return my calls or emails or anything. And all I want to do is just get a couple of these things recertified so that we know we've got spares if we need them. Otherwise, I'm kind of on my own to keep the system going as best we can. It's incredibly reliable, but every now and again it does need attention. So we were able to do a little bit of mixing and matching and got that module back up and running, and sounds like everything's been working good there. Other than that, that's all I've got for tonight. I went upstairs and made sure that my computer speaker was not on, so my wife did not have to listen to me transmitting by leaking into the computer speakers, which has been known to happen. I'll say 7-3 all the way around. Good to hear everybody on tonight. I had a pretty good copy on just about everybody. And we will see you on the next net. Matt, I did dial back on the bass a little bit, and I nudged the treble up, so hopefully we found a happy medium there. And the scope said we're about at the right level, so here's hoping. Back to net, 7-3, this is KS9Q.
All right, thank you, Jim. Yeah, I was going to tell you, it sounds just about perfect now. You sound just like you normally do, so whatever you did is exactly the right thing. I will say 7-3 to you. And I got to get out of here. I also, like you, I've been perpetually on the verge of sneezing here for the whole net. But I'll say this concludes the 2 a.m. net. Feel free, excuse me. Feel free to rag through on this frequency after my transmission. And I still forgot to update my calendar. But I believe we will meet again on the 10th of March. You know, I think March should have the same days as February, and it does, so that's correct. Until then, this is KC9UDX73, and good night.
Great stuff. Dave, you still out here?
I am here.
It's like people listening to the net. I am somewhat guilty, but at least I've checked in before. But we got a whole cast of them on FM 38. There's and we sort of know it I listen to scan all kinds of different systems, and you hear all kinds of people talk about FM 38, but not all of them have ever been there on the air much, if at all, in some cases. So it's quite amazing.
Yeah, I don't understand.